Hey Queens, and welcome back to my latest episode of Little Miss Problems. Ooh! I actually need your help with something. I had an idea in the shower the other day for a new name for the pod, and I had no problems with Little Miss Problems. I really liked it. But when I was in the shower the other day, oversharing and overcaring just came to me, and I felt like oversharing and overcaring is the literal definition of me and this pod. So I need you guys to let me know what you think. Do we keep Little Miss Problems or do we change it to oversharing and overcaring? We have the catchphrases oversharing and overcaring. That could be cool. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. So this is actually the third time I've tried to record this episode now, and I have to give this podcasting machine back in an hour. So I'm panicking. That's why I'm filming again. But basically, I tried to film this the other day and it was going so well. And then the SD card was full. Everything just went horribly wrong. So then I tried to film a continuation of that episode last night, and then the phone went funny. And I just don't think I'd continue on that topic again. So I don't know if this is going to be, if I'm going to try and salvage some of that episode and put that up, or if this is just going to be my third episode. I don't know. You will know more than me when you're listening to this. I thought today I would cover, I've had loads of topics sent in and the support has been insane. I know I keep saying it, but I've had complete random people I've never spoke to in my life sending me messages about how much they've loved the pod and how much it's helped them, and that's so much more than I ever expected or anticipated would happen. That would have been like a dream. It wasn't even in my head because I just wanted to, you know what I was trying to do? I just wanted to connect with my audience, and this has kind of turned into a bit of therapy for me, really. I get so much out of this. I've never actually been so successful at something I put the least effort into. If it's a brand, I will pour hours into getting the images right and the marketing and da-da-da. Podcast, I'm literally just sat here as I am, rambling into a microphone, and for some reason, people seem to be enjoying it. So that's pretty cool. So thank you. Today, I wanted to cover, I've written a list of a few little topics I could cover. I think I'm going to start off with being single whilst all my friends are in long-term relationships. I have given this a lot of thought since I had the question, and this was literally me. Like a year and a half ago, this was me. I had been single for like 5 years, 4 or 5 years, and I literally was getting to the point where I felt like I was never going to meet anyone. Literally was at despair. I was so worried I would actually never be in a relationship ever and just be alone. I actually started to sort of make peace with the fact that I would just adopt. In regards to like with my future, the sort of fear of being alone, that never really bothered me too much because I'm a bit of a girl boss in that sense where I would never let something like a man or a relationship hold me back from doing the things I want to do. So if I hadn't have met my boyfriend and I never did meet someone, I would have still had a hugely successful business. I would have made myself a beautiful home. I would have had children without a man. You can adopt, or there's loads of things you can do. I probably would have adopted. And I would have made a beautiful life and had happy, gorgeous little children, whatever happened to me. So that was never the worry. It was just more of the, oh, I'm lonely. I have nothing to do on a Friday night. All my friends have boyfriends, that thing. And I know how crap that can be. And I was actually at an event not too long ago and this came up. Most of the women in the room were in relationships, and there was a woman, I'd say she was probably in her late 20s or her 30s. I have no idea how old people are. Like, I just have no clue with things like that. She was older than me. She had lived a longer life than me. And she was saying how she feels like she'll never meet someone, the clock's ticking, like she just wants to find her person, da 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 da. And a lot of the women in the room gave so much good advice. It was so cool, this event. It was called Ultimate Fulfillment. You should look it up. It was really one of the best events I've ever been to. It was so good. And it was just all turned into like a group, like everyone just joined in and was answering, and I gave her some advice as well. My sort of stance on it is I wasn't ready for my boyfriend when I met him, and I would not have been ready for him any sooner. And if I'd met him too soon, our relationship would have been horrific. I actually did meet my boyfriend too soon anyway. So we met this time last year, and as soon as we met, well, I loved him straight away, and then he ended up messaging me, and we were texting as friends, and we didn't know what was going to happen. Then we went on a date. He took me to Hakkasan. We only went there for lunch on a Sunday. We was in there for hours. He only just recently revealed to me that he spent like £500-600. That's how many drinks we had. Bless his heart. That is just so cute. But yeah, we went in there. We just started talking, and we literally spoke for like 7 hours. And from that point, we just both knew there was no like we were just together. There was no really talking stage or anything. It was, my friend thought I was crazy because I had to go on a girls' holiday to Marbella literally a week later. So he was probably losing his mind, and my friends were like, oh my god, you're nuts, because I was just besotted. It was as if it was yeah, I was in love. And then, yeah, that was basically it. We were obsessed with each other. We both were like, I love you, you're the one, like quite early on. It was very quick. We just were joined at the hip, wanted to spend every minute we had with each other. I was like driving in the car, like, oh my God, I found my soulmate. I can't believe it. I never thought this would happen. And December rolls around, we broke up because I wasn't ready for him. I had been single for so long and I had so many different experiences in my life before that point that had molded me into a certain person and made me accustomed to living life in a certain way. And at first it was great. It was really intense though, and we were together a lot. Yeah, we just basically, we didn't understand each other. We couldn't agree on certain things. We started to argue and we were arguing like cat and dog, and we just didn't agree at all. And it was horrible. I would be having panic attacks every time we had an argument. It just wasn't pleasant. It wasn't a good time for us. So we ended up breaking up. We broke up in like December. I went out a couple of times in December. When we first broke up, I was like, oh, I've got my life back. Because when we were together, where I have ADHD as well, people don't speak about this, but I have to be alone a lot to process things. Like, I cannot be in other people's company. Even if I go on them solo girls trips for one night that I sometimes go on, I have to go off on my own for a couple of hours. I cannot be around people that long. I can't handle it. And obviously I work for myself, so I was alone all of the time. And then all of a sudden I was never alone. That transition was intense. I found it really overwhelming having a boyfriend, like having to think about someone else with the ADHD anyway, juggling things. And basically I just forgot about everything else and was focused on my relationship, as you do when starting a new relationship. But I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't taking care of my businesses. I just lost my focus, and our first relationship was not it. Basically, we really loved each other, but we just had such different views. We could not compromise or agree. It was the first sort of experience like that for both of us where we felt that way about another person, and it just consumed us both. I was his top priority, he was mine, but at the detriment of things that were actually important to us, and that's not sustainable in a relationship. I used to think about this as well when I was single, and I'd get a bit down about like, oh, I'll never find someone. I used to remind myself and say, one day I'm going to be with a husband and children, and I'm going to have to cook his dinners. Well, not have to, but I might be in a position where I'm a stay-at-home mum and I'm having to cook his dinners every night and wash his pants, and I'm going to wish I was still single, being able to do whatever I want. I feel like you literally have no idea when you're going to meet your person. You could meet them tomorrow. Embrace the single time. Like, spend this time focusing on yourself. Find what makes you you. Find what makes you happy. Like, be selfish. Go traveling, go on all of the holidays. If you're single, everything's about perspective and how you look at it. It can be difficult, I know, but go and do the stuff you can't do when you get a boyfriend, because you could meet your soulmate tomorrow and then there's stuff you haven't done. It's like having kids. They say you need to live your life before you have kids. I'm not saying you need to live your life before you meet your person, because you obviously can do a lot of those things with them, but you might have a boyfriend who has to work a lot, or you can't go traveling for 3 months. Like, all that sort of stuff, do it now. Yeah, so I found it super overwhelming, the relationship. I just couldn't juggle anything really. I stopped going to yoga. I stopped doing loads of things that were good for me and that I enjoyed. And I also became really dependent on my boyfriend. I can't really explain it, but I became way too dependent on my boyfriend. It actually made my ADHD worse because he was so helpful that it made me do less. Yeah, so basically when we first broke up, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going back to yoga. Like, I was sad. I was crying a lot, but I knew it was the right decision at that time because we just literally couldn't. It was just got to a point where there was nothing more we could do to make it work. We were just on totally different pages of completely different books, and we could not compromise or find common ground. We had tried and there was no other option. It was stressing us both out. We were both miserable. So once we broke up, as much as I was sad, I was already in such a good headspace by that point. So even when I was crying, I'd be on the phone I'd be voice noting my friends and my stepmom, and I couldn't talk about it without crying, and I'd be like, sorry, I know I'm crying, but I'm actually fine. Because even if I'm crying, every time I'm like crying or something really terrible in my life happens, like a breakup or a big change in my life that I wasn't planning or I didn't want to happen, every time something like that happens, it's always a redirection, but amazing things always follow. Every single time someone has been horrible to me or let me down or hurt me, or I've been at rock bottom, that's my fuel. Like, the bounce back I get from that is legendary. So even though I was crying and I was sad, I'm quite comfortable in that place now. I never used to be. I used to be the polar opposite. And I think because I am such an emotional, sensitive person and things do affect me so deeply, literally, I have to have this mindset, otherwise I would be a complete wreck. But I sort of was keeping positive, and I thought, this is all happening for a reason. I just always believe that everything that's happening, it's happening for a reason. I never ever get myself down about anything that doesn't go my way. I really don't. Even if I was to go for a job or an opportunity or whatever it would be, if I don't get it, water off a duck's back. And I think that's a really important thing for moving forward in life, because say you did go for a promotion at work, or you wanted something to happen, or you had a plan for your life and it goes south. A lot of people, when that doesn't happen, they really fixate on it and they get down and they start hating themselves, and they let that be their story, that they didn't get that thing, and they let it stop them. But actually, if you look at it in a different way, if you just trust that everything happens for a reason, which I really do, it hasn't let me down yet. Basically, I've been through some dark times and I've had a lot of horrible things done to me in my life, and I wouldn't change any of it. And I've had some really bad stuff happen. That's where I get this knowledge from. If I actually reflect on my life, every bad thing that's happened has led me to something else, and every time someone kicks me and puts me down, it makes me so much stronger, and I just stand even taller, and I love proving people wrong. So that was sort of my stance on the breakup in December. I got back into yoga, I started focusing on myself, I started having that alone time again to sort of think about, what do I want, what's my future, like what's next, how can I sort of turn this into a positive. 1st of January I did a vision board seminar with Roxy Nafusi, my hero. She's written the book Manifest. She's absolutely incredible. Like, if you want your life to change, read it. I attribute so much of all the good stuff in my life to her. I did her vision board workshop, and I just decided to isolate myself in January. I thought about, what do I actually want? And I've had this in my head for the last few years. I always see this quote and it's like, 1 year of consistent work can put you 10 years ahead, something like that. And I always think to do it, but then I have this coming up or that. There's always an excuse not to. And I just thought, I haven't got long left. Like, I'm 24. I'm going to want to have kids when I'm like probably 30. So that's 6 years. I've got 6 years to really do something with my life. I can't be getting distracted by all of this other meaningless stuff. No one's going to notice if I'm not in the pub on Friday night. Like, I'm not making any progress there. And if that's what you want to do with your life, you do that. This is just like where my life has taken me, and everyone's is different. And I'm not shaming the pub on Friday night at all, because I've had some amazing times. I used to be the queen of the pub on Friday night. I've just started to reflect on myself. I started journaling. I created a routine. I really just honed myself in and started chasing my dreams, basically. And I cut a lot of people off. And in that process, I wasn't lonely. I was lonely, but I feel like I've been lonely for forever, really. Like, I'm always sort of lonely, and that's okay to be lonely as well. Like, I used to be so lonely. It was horrible. And I think a lot of depression, when I was depressed, I was massively lonely. But actually, there's great strength in finding companionship within yourself. And if you're lonely right now and you don't have a boyfriend and you want one, that's not going to fill that hole. If anything you're struggling with right now that you think a relationship will fill, it won't. You need to be whole and complete on your own before you can be with the right person, and that's probably why you haven't met the right person yet. But basically, yes, so I started journaling. I was working on myself. I was trying to be a better person. I was really looking into myself and ways I could improve. And throughout that process of working on myself and being a better person, I ended up working with my ex-boyfriend, because we had the ASCAS together. And yeah, all of the relationship issues came up within the business partnership. We had to work on them to make the business work. And it just all of a sudden got to a point where I turned around and I thought, hang on, you've really grown and so have I. And a lot of the things we argued about before, we've solved. So then I wanted him to get back with me. He said no to me for ages and then finally caved in. And this relationship we've had now is The Notebook. Of course, we have our rough patches. We had a terrible argument last night because I'm on my period. Yeah, we have had so many rough patches. When we first got back together, it wasn't smooth sailing because he was a bit reserved because of what had happened before. But the relationship we have now is literally like the stuff out of films. It's just everything I ever really wanted in a relationship is what we've built together, and we've still got a long way to go. It's really hard. It's hard work. It's actually such hard work, especially when you have ADHD, because I obviously see things and react to things so differently to him, and having to sort of explain that and find the common ground. It's hard, and it's teamwork, and if the other person will not do the teamwork, you're never going to get anywhere. A lot of my friends in long-term serious relationships all have the same battles. We all love our boyfriends and they're all amazing and our best friends and our rocks and we love them, but we actually also all have so much work that we have to constantly put into our relationships, and they're never perfect, and it is always, not always, but it is really, really hard. And sometimes you do just want to throw the towel in. Like, me and my boyfriend were arguing horribly last night again. Not horribly, but we were arguing, and we went to bed without saying goodnight. I know you're never supposed to do that, but we woke up this morning and we were fine. But yeah, it's not a walk in the park. It's hard work. Yeah, so basically that's where we are now. We are really happy. I think this is my husband and we love each other, and I just think he is the best thing since sliced bread. when I was single, and do you know what else I've realised since meeting my boyfriend, which I wish I knew sooner? If you're in that phase of your life right now where you're single and all your friends are in long-term relationships, I wish I knew then what I know now. Firstly, he's coming, or she, I don't know, but your person is coming. Your person's coming. Like, there is a reason why they're not here yet. You aren't who you're supposed to be, or they're not who they're supposed to be, and it's gonna come exactly when it's supposed to, not a moment sooner. So just trust that. They're going to come when they're going to come, regardless of whether you stress yourself out, whether you feel crappy about it. Let's just say they're coming next year on the 5th of July. They're coming on the 5th of July, regardless of what you do now. So why don't you, instead of, there's nothing you can do about them not being here right now. What you can do is focus on making sure that you're the best version of yourself you can be, so that when they do come, you guys are even happier. And what I wish I bloody knew then was that he was coming. He's coming in a few years. Relax, enjoy yourself, and please stop trying to force it with the wrong people. Do you know how many idiots I went on dates with or entertained? Every single person I was with before my boyfriend now feels like the biggest regret of my life. There is not one person I was with before my boyfriend who doesn't make me want to throw up. And not because they're gross or anything, but because now that I've been with my boyfriend and I know what it's actually like to be loved, and the way I love myself now and how special and important I feel. And this is such a unique perspective. Like, so many women are married and they're like, oh, I wish I, got with more guys when I was single. Like, it's preference. It's everyone's different. I'm just really sensitive, and this is just my experience. So if you have got that perspective and you're a pretty chill queen, go and kiss all the frogs, honey. Like, live your best life. Have a hot girl summer. But don't let anyone make you sad. Every person I was with before my boyfriend makes me feel horrific. That's the only thing I regret in life. I know you have to go through that to become who you are, and a lot of those experiences did shape me and teach me a lot, but that's the only thing that makes me sad about my past, honestly, is the people I gave my time and energy to that just didn't deserve it or respect or appreciate me at all. And I wasted so much time with, like, I've had boyfriends before who were horrible or just idiots, and I've wasted so much time and upset myself so many times so unnecessarily for the wrong people. Like, the fact that I even let those people in my room or in my house, it just icks me out so bad. I think it's because of the relationships I had, and obviously everyone's experience is different, but I wouldn't be mad if I could have had all of those experiences and still been who I am now without having to be with any of those people and just have been with my boyfriend. I would, because he's the only boy I've ever been with who's seen me properly and who's really made me feel special and really respected and valued me. So I think that's a huge thing. And when I was single, I was so confused. I had no idea what it was like when a boy loved you. So I literally went out with so many people who did not give a crap about me, and I let so many people mistreat me because I didn't know what I was missing. This is another thing I thought when me and my boyfriend did break up in December, like, wow, good luck to anyone who tries it with me now. And if we did break up, God forbid, touch wood, no one would ever be able to with me again. Like, in an alternate reality, I would love to be single again, or I would love to just go back in time and know now what I didn't know then when I was single, when these boys are trying to take me out or talk to me or whatever, and they're just completely wasting my time and messing me around. I wish I knew then what I know now, and I wish I could turn around and tell all of them to F off and laugh in their faces and see what they were really doing, because I had no idea. And I think if you're single, please do not force it with the wrong people. When your person comes, you'll know. If a boy's not texting you back or he's messing you around, oh, my boyfriend's ringing me. Oh, for God's sake, Aston. He just interrupted my pod and I was on a roll. See, you don't get a boyfriend because they ring you, even though they know you're filming a podcast, and interrupt you for annoying stuff, and they put you off your flow when you're in a rush anyway because you have to give the machine back. Yeah, if a boy's not texting you back, if there's any slight sign that he's not interested or he's confusing you, making you feel like he doesn't absolutely adore you, if he doesn't make you feel like you are Beyonce, I know I love to say that, but if he doesn't make you feel like you are the queen, you'll know. You'll know when he actually likes you. You'll know when it's the right one. You will know in your gut. You've got a voice in your gut right now telling you already if he's not the one. He's already telling, your gut's already telling you, and you're ignoring it because you want to prove yourself wrong. You're not wrong. He isn't the one. You are not the exception. You're the rule. Like, oh, but my friend, this happened. That's the exception. I don't know if you've ever seen He's Just Not That Into You, but you need to watch it. I watched it and I still entertained so many idiots, and I was just silly. But don't give those people your energy or time. Like, they don't deserve your energy. They don't see you for who you are, and they're going to cloud your vision of yourself as well. So that's super important. Yeah, if you're single right now, please do not drink poison because you're thirsty. If he liked you, you would know. Another thing I would say about being single whilst all my friends are in long-term relationships, get new friends. Like, go and make some new single friends. People always struggle to make friends, but I found so many new friends this year, and all I did was be myself. All I did was actually start living my truth, and they came to me. I'm great at making friends. I've made so many friends throughout my lifetime, but always with the wrong people. I've got loads of friends I've had for years who are still my besties, but I also made a lot of new friends this year, and these ones will actually be keepers because they're into the same stuff as me. We're on the same page. We work together. Like, I've sort of found my people, if that makes sense. I've got a select few friends I've had forever, and they're still my people, and they're like my soulmate best friends. Like, they are still so important. But you go through different phases of your life with different friends. I've made a couple really good friends this year who have gone straight into the soulmate bucket, and it's amazing because they're doing all the same stuff as me, and we're just doing it all together, and we're helping each other chase our dreams, and it's really good. And I've wanted friends like that for years. Do you know what made it happen? My vision boarding seminar on the 1st of January. When I did my vision board, I wrote out how many new friends I wanted. I described them, and they have all walked into my life. I have met so many lovely girls this year, and I've never met girls like that before. I've been struggling to find nice girls like that for years, and I cannot stop finding them now because I'm being myself and living my truth, and I'm being authentic to me. And if you are feeling a bit lonely and single and you're on your own, you've got a lot of time to yourself, and you don't have friends who are single who want to fill up your weekends, go and do the work. Go back to the drawing board. Don't just get stuck in the mundane of what everyone else is doing in the news and the gossip and the drama. That is all there to distract you from what you're actually meant to be doing. Go back to the drawing board and think about, what do I actually want to achieve with my life? Where is this going? What makes me happy? Find a hobby you want to try. You might make new friends at that hobby, but guess what? You might find a boyfriend. I would have never met my boyfriend until I met him. And the only reason I met him was because it was at a dinner party for my cousin. I would have never crossed paths with my boyfriend unless for that dinner party, because we were doing completely different things. I was doing things that didn't actually align with my path and what I wanted to do, and didn't actually get me any further on where I wanted to be in life. And I was just doing what my friends were doing and what I thought I should be doing, and I was just going along with it. Stop doing that. Stop right now. Just take a second and think about, what do you actually want from life? Start chasing that. Start working on who do you want to be. Stop giving a crap about what anyone else thinks. We will cover that at some point, maybe today, maybe another episode, because I've got loads to say on not caring about what other people think. And also, don't live your life for anyone else. I've done so many things I didn't want to do because other people wanted me to. Everyone in the world is going to do what's best for them, is going to put themselves first, and I still struggle with this all the time. But do not feel guilty for making a decision that was the right one for you. Your boyfriend might not be in the pub. My boyfriend had never been in a pub in his life. Literally, I was going out to Broadgate or going out up London, and none of those guys were for me. My boyfriend would never ever be anything like those boys, and I actually couldn't be happier. None of those boys would have been half of what my boyfriend is, and none of the boys I gave any of my time or energy to or actually cried over or cared about were half of what my boyfriend is now. So don't stress about that. You're probably chilling in the wrong places with the wrong guys, and that's why you haven't met anyone. Definitely don't force it. I know this is such a cliche, and they always say it happens when you least expect it, but what I did when I was single is focus on being happy on my own. And when people would ask me about that, I would always say I was happy on my own, even if I had my moments of being insecure and stuff. I used to always say, I love being on my own. Like, I'm gonna have a husband at some point, I'm gonna have to be with him all the time. I love the peace. I used to joke about it to people and say it all the time, but it's true. You don't need a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a partner for anything. Don't let that stop you from living your life or chasing your dreams. Let that come when it's supposed to, and that's when it will come. Focus on what you want from life, who you want to be, what do you want to put into the world. Like, how do you actually want your life to look if anything was possible? Write it down and start chasing it. I did that on January, and there's a couple things left. 2 of them was meeting famous people. 1 of them's already ticked off. That's like my hero, and I think I might be meeting them. That was never going to happen. That was an insane thing to happen, and I think it's happening. The other one was have my own podcast. I did no prep for this. I just picked up the mic the other week, and it just literally manifested itself into my life. All my new friends, I never made one move for that to happen. I just started aligning myself, making the right choices, living my truth, and focusing on being the best version of me and what did I really want, and everything else came. So if you're worried about the boyfriend stuff, don't be. There's nothing that's going to fix that you can't fix yourself. I still had my wobbles, and I still felt like, God, I'm never going to meet anyone. But focus on being happy without a boyfriend. Try and master that first, because then you'll be invincible. You don't need anything from anyone else. Every problem you're facing, you can solve it yourself. Therapy's great, don't get me wrong, but always get help if you need. I'm not saying don't ask for help, but If you think you need to rely on another person for this, or you're in control. This is your story. Like, take the reins back. Don't be dependent on other people or having a boyfriend, not having a boyfriend. Don't wait until you've got this for your life to start. Start your life today. Like, tomorrow is not promised. And I promise you, once you start living your purpose and being you, and you stop caring what other people think and start just living your best life, you can find happiness and joy in every single day. Being a good person and focusing on making yourself happy, you become like a magnet. Definitely read the book Manifest by Roxy Nafousi. It will help you a lot with all of this stuff, but just start being who you're supposed to be and everything else will come. Don't let what your friends are doing or what you think you should be doing or what the world says you should be doing make you feel crappy about what you are doing or where you are right now. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. If you're listening to this, then perhaps you really are exactly where you're supposed to be. And you're supposed to be listening to this message right now because this might be the start of you. It might guide you to a realization and help you start that little path of being the best you can be. Everyone's timeline is different. Everyone's story is different. The worst thing you can do is compare yourself to other people. It is the biggest waste of time. Everyone else is struggling as well. It's all highlight reels. You never really know what's going on with anyone. Yeah, basically, anything's possible. You can build your dream life. Just start focusing on what you want that to be. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave it there for that topic. I know this is a super short one, but I don't want to just say garbage to keep it long, and I feel like I covered that enough. I'm just going to keep this a short episode. Some of them will be longer, some of them will be shorter, but I don't want to just waffle for the sake of it. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening. I don't know whether we're calling it Little Miss Problems or oversharing and overcaring, so I'm not sure, but thank you so much for being here. It's currently Sunday. England are playing tonight. I hope we win. It's crazy because when you guys will be watching this, you'll know the answer. I'm going to go now. I'm going to go and get on with my day, get some more work done, and keep slay queening. I'm sorry this was so short, but the flow isn't flowing today and I don't want to force it. Thank you so much for listening. I love you. This brings me more joy than I could ever put into words. Have the best day ever. If you're single, that's so good. Do everything you want to do. Live your best life. Be happy. Just be happy. If you're in a relationship, same applies. Please don't worry about what anyone else is doing. You're on your own journey, and don't let other people's bullshit or stories or the news, gossip, drama, anything. Don't let any of that stuff get in the way of you. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening. I love you all, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.